guys, welcome to another video. So today I'm gonna review the Gotway Nikola 1800 watt 100 volt, which is a wheel that I rode for now around 800 miles, which is more or less 1000 kilometers. So I got quite a good view now of the performance of that wheel, and I would like to share that with you. So let's go more into the description of the wheel. So the shell has a rounded shape. It really looks like a vacuum, like a Roomba vacuum. It has a 16 per 3-inch CST tire. It has LED lights on the side of the shells, a rear light and a headlight, plus a USB port. So let's go describe that. So the headlight is completely trash. It just does the basic job of a small scale light in front of you. It's not very efficient in the dark. That's why on mine I did an extra light, because the wheel light headlight was not enough. Similarly, on the rear you have a Gotway logo lighted in red, completely useless as well, completely. So similarly, I put a rear light, an additional rear light, because it's not very efficient. On the side of the shell you have LED strips, which basically you have a brown selection of light patterns that you can choose and color. Quite nice, to be honest, quite nice. It makes the wheel very beautiful during the night. You select the pattern you want by pressing several times on the power switch button, and you can just switch between the pattern that you want. I really like these LED strips on the Gotway Nikola, because not only they are very beautiful but also very visible. So it's quite safer for night ride. It makes that wheel very unique compared to other wheels on the market. You also have a USB port. It's just standard if you like to use USB port or plug a device there. I don't really use it, but it's there, so it's useful. It has a trolley handle. So where is the trolley handle? It is on the top of the wheel and it's curved, so it follows the shape of the shell. It's like what we call a scorpion shape handle. It's a bit wide, but it's quite efficient. I never had problem to control the wheel with the trolley handle. It's quite efficient, no issue with that. I just know that when that wheel crashes, I heard that the trolley gets broken very fast, because it's not fixed. It's not locked on the shell. It just stands on it. So I recommend that you put some Velcro in order to attach the trolley on that wheel, so that it doesn't play too much when it moves and when it has a shock. There's no seat on that wheel, no official seat as well. Surprising for such a Gotway wheel, because a lot of wheels have a seat now by default. Unfortunately for the Nikola they are not. On mine I put a modded seat, a custom seat, I use the bike seat, but there are many ways to put seats on that wheel. Some people convert a 16x seat and just they cut inside and just put it on top of the Nikola. There are many ways, but there are no official seat. If you want to just use the Nikola like this, it's not convenient to sit on that wheel just as it is. It's too low, and the rounded shape doesn't make it very comfortable to sit. Some people manage to do that, sit directly on that wheel, but I don't recommend it. It's not very comfortable. The shell of the Nikola. So the shell is very solid. That wheel can take a beating. It's clear. It has no handlebar like the Sherman, but the shell is very solid. And when I see that shell, I'm wondering why Begode doesn't use the same shell for all their wheels, or at least the same component. The shell is also very isolated. It's quite locked. There's almost no space for water or any other element to get inside the wheel. So that's why in New York we said that the Gotway Nikola is the best rain wheel. It's the best rain wheel. During the rain, the snow, in all weather, and then I opened the wheel and there was nothing inside. It was clean. It's incredible, really incredible, because you know that Begode in their wheel manual always states that EUCs cannot be ridden in the rain or in bad weather. But the Gotway Nikola is on another level. Of course, you need to be careful. I mean, some people just clean water on the handle side, because apparently some water just adds up on the hinge of the handle. If you ride in a heavy rain, but otherwise it's impressive. So if you need a wheel that you can ride in all weather conditions, the Gotway Nikola should be considered. I really wish Begode would use the same component of shells for all their wheels, because it's incredible. When I see MSX shells, it's quite laughable, compared to the Gotway Nikola. What is the performance on that wheel? So on EUC's website, they state that wheel can go up to 40 miles per hour. So it's in theory, because and it really depends on rider weight. I never reached that speed, and I will never, especially on the Gotway Nikola. But it also means that you have a lot of headroom. So that's what it means. It has a good battery, and I would estimate that you can go, if you go very at high speed, 30 miles would be a good range on that wheel. 30 miles at high speed in the cold, it would be good. Some people manage to get 40 miles on that wheel. Yes, if you go very slower, if you 15 miles, 20 miles per hour, you can go 40, even plus miles of range. But if you want to ride in traffic, or you want to get a certain speed, 30 miles range is I think reasonable to say on that wheel, but it's quite reasonable. Honestly, I never had range issue with that wheel, knowing the limitation. You have to know the limitation of your device when you ride. The strong battery makes you feel safer in terms of headroom when you want to go fast. But fast, once again, I don't recommend going beyond 35, 36 miles per hour on that wheel, especially depending on your weight. Of course, many people will tell you that no, I can go faster. It depends on the rider. So you take what I say with a grain of salt and you adjust it to your own profile. What I did not like on that wheel is actually, it's very weird, but it's the shape of that wheel that I don't like. Why? So I already said that with the shape of that wheel, you cannot sit very well. I realized that when I started to ride the Sherman, which so at some point my seat broke on the Sherman, and I had to sit directly on the shell, and I was shocked to see that I could ride seated there with no issue, whereas on the Gotway Nikola, the rounded shape makes it very uncomfortable to sit on it. So that's my first gripe. But my biggest gripe on that wheel is the wobble. So that wheel wobbles a lot, especially if you are not used to ride an EUC. So I started riding directly with the Gotway Nikola, and it took me more time to learn how to ride because of the Gotway Nikola. Every time I was trying something, I got wobbles. Of course, people will say that, oh, you wobble, it's a rider issue, rider skills issue. That's what I hear each time I mention wobbles. But the problem is that I'm hearing a lot of other riders who call the Gotway Nikola a wobble wheel. And I think it's due to the rounded shape of that wheel. That's why it wobbles so much. No, I'm used to that wheel. I don't wobble at all on the Gotway Nikola. I have no wobble issue on the Gotway Nikola, but I'm a bit disappointed that I wasted so much time with wobbles on that wheel when I started to ride. And each time you try something new, you are rewarded with a wobble. So that's something you need to keep in mind. If you are not disturbed by this, it's fine. But if it's a feature of that wheel, it's a feature. sum it up, I think that the Gotway Nikola plus 100 volt is a good overall wheel, a good city riding wheel. So if you want to ride on the city, in traffic or bike lane, whatever you prefer, it's great. It's very customizable with, if you want to add a seat, it's possible, not the easiest, but it's still possible. Good performance wheel in terms of speed, nice LED light, very solid wheel if you have a crash. Bad headlight, but you can just use other custom lights that you can add on that wheel. There are many ways, you can go online, you will find. So it's a good overall wheel, good battery, good range. If you want something, a wheel that does everything more or less correctly, not super fantastic, but on an acceptable way overall, Gotway Nikola is fantastic for you. If you want super high speed wheel, of course you're gonna look somewhere else, but this one is quite in the middle, you know. It's heavy as well, but not comparable as a Sherman, for example. I really recommend that wheel for someone who is a beginner, knowing he has to understand that it will wobble. Beginner's wheel, fantastic, you know, because instead of buying a smaller wheel and that you're gonna be over with in 1 week and then you have to buy another wheel, so it's just a waste of money, you can just directly buy a Gotway Nikola and you will be good, you will be able to learn on it, it can take a beating, and then you can move on with your riding life after with the Gotway Nikola and just continue riding directly, which is what I did. If you don't want to scrap that wheel, you can get a Roll NZ cover on it. I used it at the beginning, but I quickly removed it because it was hiding the LED lights that I really like on that wheel. So after, I just didn't bother, I just ride it with no cover at all. Anyway, the shell is solid. That's all I got for now. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.